Alright, welcome back to the SuperCoach Nuff channel. In today's video we're going to review round 5 of the 2023 AFL season. Should go back to the homepage first, probably good start. So it scored 2260 this week, which was top 18%, actually higher than I thought. Saw a couple of the sort of, I guess, the big gun SuperCoach content producers scoring up around 2300s. I didn't actually realise I went that well, to be honest, so pretty stoked with that actually. So up 5,000 in the ranks, so into the top 40k, and knocking on the door of top 35. So we are moving in the right direction, which is great, and hopefully we can continue to do so in the coming weeks. So if we have a look at the side, I guess the main contributor to that rise in ranks would be our VC, Jordan Dawson, so 152. So I guess, there was an argument for getting away from Dawson and going with someone more like a Tom Stewart as a bit more of a pod option. But he's playing in the midfield, so anytime you can get like a gun midfielder in your defence, I think you got to take it. And we did, and we're glad we did. Day cost 128, so, he's a lock in the defence. Very happy with how he's going. Excuse me. Yeah, I don't know what to say. He's too good. Buckley with a 78. So, he's chipping away. He's making some cash, and, it's going to make that upgrade a bit easier into that defensive slot when the time comes. Jimby, 51. So, he's peaked in price for now. He might just need a rest, and then he'll come good and, keep banging out those scores more around 80 and such, but might be good to be able to use his cash at this point. McKenna, 55, so, a bit under his average, but I think he's still got a good break even. Just quickly flick across. Yeah, 25, so he's not an emergent sell. If you could upgrade him to a gun, I'd go for it, but he's not an urgent sell. Wilmot, 68, so really nice. He's got the dual position now as well, so I guess that's one thing you notice with a lot of these teams. I do have a lot of, the same sort of players as others, is there's just so much more flexibility now. So Wilmot, Dawson getting midfield status, Will Day as well. Mackenzie getting forward status. I didn't see that one coming, but probably not the best. And then the two forwards there in the defense as well now. So lots of flexibility, which will sort of help us with trading in the coming weeks. Will Day, so suspended for another week, unfortunately, but we're going to hold him. He looks like he could be a D6 option, in terms of keeper status. And Cowan, excuse me, 42, he's ticking along. I think he's still got a bit of cash in him, 22, yeah. So slow burning his way up to, the 100k plus mark in terms of cash. Bontempelli, 145, so pretty sure that's his highest for the year. Let's have a quick look. Yep, nice one. He's pushing up towards that 120 average, which is what we would like in our midfield. Josh Kelly, he's gone a bit backwards with their 80. So whether we get off him or we stick fat as like an M8 option, remains to be seen. Josh Dunkley, so I just moved him in just to fit in the cheaper options in the forwards. 133, so that's more like the Josh Dunkley we know and love. So I was flirting with getting off him until he's started to score, but he's back. Tommy Green, 97, so still averaging over 100, so we'll cop that for the time being. Jacob Hopper, 115. That was sort of the hope of where he could get to. Excuse me. And at 350k to start, that's fantastic. James Warple turned up, so with Will Day out, sort of hoped he would get a bit more time in the midfield, and looks like he did. Got a bit more ball. So what's his break even now? That'll be pretty nice. Yeah, 32 now. So he should make some good cash this week. and then potentially an upgrade target for next week. Will Ashcroft 72, so he's still making cash. What's his break even? 44. Yeah, I mean the fact he's averaging 77 means he's not an urgent sell. We used Davey for the loophole to get Dawson's score, but we would have had Mackenzie there, which was an epic fail. Apparently, he was the sub for this game, and so he actually lost a bit of money. Admittedly, only $100. But with a break even of 89, he is on the chopping block this week. Oscar Baker, he's another one you could potentially get out of. 53, his break even's 46. So, yeah, I guess if you have nothing better to do, you could get rid of him. Or you can sort of use his 50 as in case of emergency. Charlie Constable, so don't know how much longer we can hold a non-player there. I mean, Will Day being out doesn't help. But Davey should be back this week. Maybe Jinby's out. Um, yeah, not too sure. Timmy English was the other big gun we brought in, and he delivered. So it's really good when you trade in a gun and they do the business straight away. 139, right on average. That's unreal. Um, yeah, obviously Jared Witt's missed again, and Rowan Marshall. So originally we were trying to trade Marshall to English, but he should be due for a bit of cash rise now. So could make that flip to Jared Witts that I've thought about a little bit easier going forward. And the forwards, Tim Taranto, 115. He's the lock, doesn't matter. Rosie, 93. Goulden, 88. So you can see they're averaging about 100, which is fine in the forwards. We'll cop that. Zeeble and Sheasel, tunning up. So Sheasel averaging 111. That's ridiculous. And then Samson Ryan. So probably went the worst option out of, the four I could have had. Radagalair was obviously the winner with 88. Chandler, 56. So, they didn't even matter if I got the emergency score there. And Fergus Green, 76. So he must have a good break even. Yeah, negative 15. Nice. Chandler, so 73. He's averaging. I guess not his best game, but yeah, he's still got a bit of cash to make, so we'll hang on to him for the time being. And yeah, so that's how the team went. In terms of trades this week, as I said, Mackenzie's definitely got to go. And then after that, torn between Jinby, who's peaked in price, and Baker, who's also peaked in price but is a bit less. And I guess what I'm leaning on is the fact that, if Jinby gets a rest and comes back, he could kick up in price again. Whereas I honestly think Baker is done. So for now, we'll trade out Baker. And what we'll do is just use a bit of DPP just to straighten the team out a bit. Let's just do Sheasel, Dunkley. So we still end up with two mid slots that we're going to replace anyway. And if we go by break even, the two that I sort of think will be the go will be Roberts and Johnson. So they've both been highly tipped for maybe even the last two seasons. I think they were, talk of cheapy options in 2022 as well as 2023. And they both played their first game where they weren't the sub this week, and Roberts went 93, Johnson 67. Looking at the time on ground, maybe Johnson did get subbed out. I haven't looked that deep into it. But it does give us 250k to spend. So we'll just make those trades and have a look at the team and how it sits. So Will Day is probably going to be a starter more often than not. The midfield, probably even if we put Johnson in there. Probably Radagalair. I think the last couple of weeks he's shown enough that he probably deserves that spot. Yeah, so if we look at the team as it is, and I guess probably if you combine the defence with these four plus the five here in the forwards, so we've only really got three upgrade slots to fit. And to be fair, Sheasel's probably going to come back into F6. I think for my team, could get cogs as well, and keep this swing, which could be useful. Um, so I mean, yeah, even if we run with it as is, two defender slots. One of these is going to be Tom Stewart. What did he score this weekend? I know it was good. Stewart. Yeah, so he made a big chunk of change. He does have a break even of 121, so I think that bumper score that, yeah, 167's out of his average, so it's not an urgent trade in this week, but I think, well, actually, just looking at the numbers, I could go Buckley straight to Stewart. That's interesting. Hold the phone. Yeah, so I could do that. What's Buckley doing? Well, he's still got a nice little break even. That's fine. Yeah, so that's not an urgent trade, but that's going to be Tom Stewart. And then, this can be take your pick out of Sicily, Sinclair. They're probably the two that I've got in mind, and they're both dipping in price too, I'm pretty sure. So Sicily, yeah, so he's dropping 550. Probably still got, yeah, 150 break even. Cool. Sinclair was the other one. So about the same price, slightly lower break even. Yeah, so I guess, take your pick out of those two. So, or you could even go both of them, and then obviously Sheasel would slide down here. So Stewart plus two out of Cogs, Sinclair, Sicily, will be the forwards and backs. So that's another six trades, which leaves us with what, 19. But then, we've really only got, well, one out and out keeper. Kelly is a bit of an iffy M8 option. Yeah, so this is where we need to focus on. The rucks are obviously almost set and forget in a sense. So we've got 19 trades to upgrade six, and it's going to take, well, a couple of them will only be two trades. Like Green, hopefully Hopper and Warple will be a one up, one down sort of situation. But then filling in these back three might be a bit of a two down, one up. So if we say six trades there, nine is 15. What do I say? Plus six, 21. So we're really only leaving ourselves with about four trades for emergencies. So not the worst situation to be in. But, all of our trades, I think going forward, are just going to be about upgrading towards our premium team. So, yeah, in terms of if we're going to do one of those this week, I mean, Warple and Hopper are still making money, so that's fine. Tom Green is the one we might consider. Um, and again, it's not that big of a jump to an out and out gun. Um, so what are the options? Tuke Miller looks like the best option. Yeah, break even at 112, and that's pretty much where he's at. Yep, so 120s last couple of weeks. That's nice. And I guess being a bit of a fan of the Suns, it would be good to have the main man in there. Yeah, I don't think there's any other sort of options yet. That's fine. So it's just whether we use the boost. We've got two boosts left. Um, yeah, it's just whether we want to sit on the bank this week. Miller is playing the Kangaroos, could go big. Probably depends as well if Jared Witts is back. That could be helpful. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I guess the options are Buckley up to Stewart, Green to Miller. I guess we could also look at the other guns. Just have a quick look. It's not usually what we do in the review, but why not? So Oliver, 700k. It's probably a lot to spend. At this point, Miller, his price will have bottomed out after that massive score. So playing GWS, Freo Carlton. Should have looked at Tuke Miller's upcomings as well. It's Richmond, Melbourne, West Coast. Okay. Yeah, I think maybe the advantage with Miller is he does have that nice bye. It's like Gold Coast and Geelong only. Um, and I guess that's just if you for tiebreakers. Rory Laird, how's he going? He might lose a little bit more cash. Might wait a week to target him. So I guess they're probably the big four that I've got my eye on: Oliver, Neil, Miller, Laird. Um, just a quick preview of the channel content there. Wanted to do this one. Back to the team. Yeah, so I think it's going to happen eventually. So it's just whether we boost. Let's just go it for the purpose of this video. I'll probably make a decision in time for the preview. So something like that. So it still gives us 160k in the bank, which could be next week. Could we somehow get to Laird from Warple to Laird would be nice. Yeah, trade cash out one of these other guys because the other downgrade option next week is Seamus Mitchell, probably. One game, 67. Yeah, defence forward, which is interesting. Could help create an extra swing with Sheasel or something like that. Yeah, so I think if we use him to cash out, we can go Warple up to Laird next week. That'd be pretty cool. That'd give us, we'd be halfway to our full midfield. Um, and then the week after that, it might be Buckley to Stewart with a downgrade somewhere. And just really get the upgrades going leading into the buys. So I don't mind this actually. I think it's a few extra points, and we need all the points we can get. It's going to happen eventually. So why not this week? I guess also maybe holding Tom Green might be a popular move, so it could be a point of difference to get out of him and go a bit earlier on a upgrade. Yeah, so I mean, in terms of how the team would look for this week, so Tim English is the obvious VC playing Friday night, although up against Darcy isn't the easiest task in the game, but I guess that's why we VC him. And then probably the way he's going, you got to back Dawson in against the Hawks. Could obviously now got the option of going Miller as well. Even Dacos against Essendon on the Anzac Day game could be a shout as well. Yeah, let's go Dawson just to keep it going. And yeah, I think the team's pretty much going to line up like that, except Will Day will come in out for McKenna. Could even possibly move Wilmot in there, but then we probably don't have a midfield emergency. So probably just going to have to run with that for this week. And the rest of that is pretty much as is. But yeah, a lot of bridges go under the water. Obviously, we want to see Johnson named on Thursday. Well, there's no Thursday game this week, so that'll be good to actually get to see all the teams before any of them play. I guess you could if you get on there in time on Thursday, but not always the case. Yeah, so as long as these two are named, comfortable with them on the field for now, until we can start to upgrade and fill in these slots. Cash out these other rookie players. And yeah, so anyway, that's the review. Probably a little bit longer than I hoped for. I'm trying to condense these down, sharpen them up a bit, but I think with all the dual position upgrades and stuff, and talking about getting into upgrade season, it's pretty exciting. So that's why I went a bit longer. But yeah, so if you got any thoughts or comments on who to target in terms of the upgrades, let me know. If you're liking the content, like the video, subscribe to the channel. I know it is mostly an NRL channel, but um, yeah, do enjoy the AFL game. It is different enough that it's fun and interesting in its own way. But yeah, other than that, thanks very much for watching. I'll catch you in the next one.